You think getting rich is a constant climb, that every dollar is equally hard to earn, that if it took you 10 years to raise 100,000, it will take you 100 years to raise 1,000,000, that the journey is linear, that the effort is proportional to the result. Wrong. Completely wrong. And this illusion of linearity is exactly what keeps you poor. Milton Friedman, the Nobel Prize-winning economist who understood money better than 99% of human beings who have ever walked this earth, understood something that most die without understanding. Wealth does not grow in a straight line. It grows in an exponential curve. And this curve has a brutal inflection point, a moment where everything changes, where the game turns, where money stops being a problem and starts to be a solution that multiplies itself. At that point, the first million, before him you are a slave. After that, you start to be free. Before him you work for money. After that, the money starts working for you. Before him, every dollar requires sweat, blood, and sacrifice. After that, dollars start appearing while you sleep. And here's the part no one tells you. The difficulty is not distributed equally. The first million consumes 80% of the total effort. The next millions, 20%. Or less. Much less. Friedman understood this because he understood something fundamental about how capital works. He didn't look at money as a number on the account. It was seen as a productive force, as accumulated energy that generates more energy, like gravitational mass that attracts more mass. And you look at money as something that comes in and goes out, earn and spend, receive and consume. That's why you never reach your first million. And that's why you'll never experience the moment where getting rich becomes absurdly easier. Let me show you why. And pay attention, because what you hear now could be the difference between dying with mediocre wealth and building real wealth. Let's talk about numbers. Real numbers. No fantasy. No stupid optimism. You start from scratch, earns $5,000 a month. He manages, with superhuman discipline, to save $1,000 a month. Invest at a rate of return of 10% per year, which is approximately what the American market has historically delivered. How long does it take to reach the first million? Approximately 25 years. 25 years of discipline, 25 years of deprivation, 25 years of saying no to things everyone around you is buying, 25 years of being the weirdo at the bar who doesn't pay for a trip, doesn't finance a new car, doesn't change his cell phone every year. Now, how long does it take to reach the second million? Starting from the first, maintaining exactly the same contributions and the same rate of return? Approximately 7 years. Reread this. 25 years to the first, 7 to second. Same person, same salary, same contribution, same return rate. And the third million, less than 5 years. The room, less than 4. The fifth, 3 years or less. Do you notice the pattern? The difficulty does not decrease gradually. She collapses. Vault off a cliff. The first million is climbing Everest in flip-flops. Next up is a walk in the park. And why does this happen? Because there is a force in the financial universe that is as powerful as gravity in the physical universe. A force that Friedman understood on a molecular level. A force that most people know exists but never truly experience. Compound interest. not the simplified version they taught you, not the pretty little graph that goes up slowly. The real version. The version that only manifests when you have enough capital for it to operate at full power. When you have $10,000 invested at 10% per year, your interest generates $1,000. $1,000. It doesn't change your life, doesn't pay your bills, it doesn't free you from anything. It's lunch money. When you have $100,000 invested at 10%, you generate $10,000 a year. Better. But it is still not transformative. It is still an income supplement. When you have $1 million invested at 10%, you generate $100,000 a year. $100,000 without working, without exchanging time for money, without selling your life energy to an employer. $100,000 appears in your account like magic, except it's not magic, it's mathematics. Mathematics that only works when you have enough critical mass. And here's the point Friedman was hammering home. Capital above a certain threshold doesn't just generate returns. It generates enough returns to completely replace your work. And when that happens, you can reinvest both the return and the salary. And when you reinvest both, the exponential curve takes off like a rocket. That's why getting rich becomes easier. It's not a feeling, it's not an illusion. It's pure mathematics operating with sufficient critical mass. And the first million is that critical mass. So if the math is so clear, why are 95% of people die without ever reaching their first million? Why do most people spend their entire lives on the painful part of the curve, on the brutal climb, on the stretch where every dollar is suffered and progress is imperceptible? Because math is not the problem. It never was. The problem is psychology. Friedman once explained that there are 4 ways to spend money. You can spend your own money on yourself. You can spend your own money on others. You can spend other people's money on yourself. And you can spend other people's money on others. And he demonstrated that only in the first situation do you really care about both value and quality. In the other 3, efficiency disappears, care disappears, discipline disappears. Now apply this to wealth building. Most people are spending their own money on themselves, but act as if they are spending other people's money, carelessly, with impulsiveness, with a criminal negligence towards their own future. Buy things you don't need to impress people you don't like. It finances a lifestyle that it cannot sustain. Live as if tomorrow didn't exist. And then he complains that he can't save money. Milton Friedman would say, with that icy smile he had, the problem isn't that you don't earn enough. It's just that you behave as if you have infinite income and infinite time. It has neither, and the psychology that sabotages you operates in layers. Let me peel each one. The first is the illusion of linear progress. You start investing. Put in $1,000 a month. After a year, he has $12,000. After 2 years, $25,000. Growth appears slow. It seems useless. It feels like you'll never get anywhere. And this is where 90% give up. Because the human brain was not designed to understand exponential growth. Your brain thinks straight, projects the future as a linear extension of the present. Look at 2 years of effort and 25,000 results and calculate, at this rate, it will take 40 years to reach the million. It's not worth it. But the projection is wrong, brutally wrong, because it ignores the compound effect that accelerates over time. The first few years are slow. The ones in the middle are average. The last ones are explosives. But you never reach the explosive years because you give up in the slow years. It's like planting a bamboo tree. You plant, watering, wait, nothing happens. Water more, wait more, nothing. For years, nothing visible happens on the surface. But beneath the earth, the roots are expanding, creating a monumental base. And then, after years of apparent nothingness, the plant explodes and grows meters in weeks. Wealth works the same. And you uproot the tree after 6 months because you didn't see any results. The second layer is lifestyle inflation. This is the silent killer of wealth, the most dangerous, the most treacherous. You start by earning $3,000. Spend $200 and $800, save $200, receives a raise to $4,000. Instead of saving $1,200, he keeps $300. Why? Because now you need a better car, bigger apartment, more expensive clothes, better restaurants. His lifestyle grew in proportion to his income, or worse, it grew faster than your income. Because now you use credit to finance the difference between what you earn and what you want to consume. Friedman understood this when he studied what he called permanent income. People don't consume based on what they earn today. They consume based on what they believe they will earn throughout their lives. And this belief is always too optimistic, always overrated. Always used to justify spending more now than the moment allows. You earn $5,000 and live as if you earned $8,000, because deep down he believes that one day he will win $15,000. And when you earn $15,000, you live as if you earned $25,000. The gap never closes, the savings rate never increases, and the first million remains fantasy. The third layer is social pressure. You are at dinner with friends. Everyone is talking about the trip to Europe, from the new car, home renovation, from the branded bag, and you're there with your 5-year-old car, your 2-year-old cell phone, your non-designer clothes, religiously saving $1,000 a month in an investment that no one sees, no one applauds, no one admires. The pressure to spend is monstrous. A 15-minute conversation destroys 15 days of self-discipline. And here's what Friedman would understand perfectly. No one gets paid for looking rich. You get paid for being productive. The confusion between the appearance of wealth and real wealth is perhaps the most destructive illusion of modern capitalism. The richest people I know look average. They drive ordinary cars. They wear common clothes, because they understood that every dollar spent on appearance is a dollar stolen from the capital that would free them. And the most broken people I know seem rich. Car financed, fine house in Sharda, clothes on card. They seem to have everything. They have nothing. The fourth layer is the fear of long-term commitment. 25 years, that's the sentence. Your brain reads this and panics. 25 years is too abstract, too far away. Then it offers you a much more attractive alternative. Spend it now. The reward is immediate. The pleasure is instantaneous. The cost is invisible, spread over decades, paid in lost opportunities that you will never calculate. It's the hyperbolic discounting trap. You value $100 today more than you will value $200 in 5 years. Mathematically, it is irrational, Psychologically, it is the human standard, and that's why most people die poor. Now I'm going to tell you about the moment that changes everything. The moment that separates those who will die working from those who will stop working because they chose to stop. The point where your capital generates enough return to be relevant. Where compound interest stops being a theoretical concept and becomes a tangible reality in your account. When I was studying finance, a professor said something I never forgot. He said, when you realize that your investments yielded more in a month than you could save by working, something changes inside you. A key turns, a light turns on. You viscerally understand that there is another way to build wealth. And this understanding is irreversible. Let's put numbers to this. You save $1,000 a month. Your investments are at $500,000. At 10% per year, your investments generate approximately $4,200 per month. Did you read this? $4,200. Your investments generated more than 4 times what you can save from your salary in 1 month. Your money is working 4 times harder than you are. And now something fascinating happens in your psychology. The motivation to continue skyrockets, because the result becomes visible, palpable, real. It's no longer spreadsheet projection, it's money going into the account. It is a virtuous cycle that feeds itself. The exact opposite of the vicious cycle of the early years. Friedman understood this dynamic when he differentiated labor income from capital income. Income from work is linear. You exchange hours for dollars, work more, earn more. Stop working, stop earning. It has a natural ceiling. Capital income is exponential. It doesn't depend on your hours. It has no ceiling. It grows alone. It multiplies. It operates 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Don't take vacations. Don't get sick. Don't get tired. And when your income from capital exceeds your income from labor, you have crossed the Rubicon. He was free again for the first time since he was born. Because now working is a choice, not an obligation. Now your time is yours, not your employer's. The first million is the threshold of this transition. Before him, your investments are noise. After him, they are the main engine. And that changes everything, not just financially. When you don't need the money, you negotiate better. Accept less shit. Say no more easily. Take calculated risks that were previously impossible. Invest in opportunities that you could not access before. Friedman understood that wealth is not money in the bank. It is accumulated productive capacity. It is the store of value that generates a flow of income without the need for additional work. He talked about economic freedom. It was not political speech. It was mathematical reality. A person with sufficient capital is free. A person without capital is a slave, regardless of the political system in which they live. Freedom without capital is an empty concept. And he understood the difference between human wealth and non-human wealth. Human wealth is your ability to work, education, skills, energy, engine that generates income while it works. And like any engine, it wears out, it gets slow. 2. Non-human wealth is your capital, investment, assets, engine that doesn't wear out. It doesn't age. Don't get tired. It can work indefinitely. The big financial life transition is when your non-human wealth surpasses your human wealth as a primary source of income. This transition happens in the region of the first million. Before her, you are a work machine. After that, he owns capital. There was no romanticism in Friedman's analysis, just the inevitable conclusion. Either you accumulate enough capital to transition, or you die working. There is no third option. The mentality for building the first million is completely different from that needed for the next ones. The first requires deprivation. Say no systematically, living below your means. Years of effort without visible reward. It's a soldier's mentality. Trench warfare, every meter costs blood. The next millions require vision, courage to take bigger risks, ability to allocate capital to opportunities that did not previously exist. General mentality, strategist. With 100,000, you are limited to passive investments, index funds, titles. With 1 million, doors open, private equity, venture capital, commercial properties, business interests, opportunities with disproportionate returns, reserved for those who have already crossed the threshold. It's the cruel paradox of capitalism. Those who most need a high return have the least access to it. The system favors those who already have it. Complaining doesn't change anything. Understanding and acting changes everything. And there is a danger zone on the journey to the first million. The zone between $300,000 and $700,000 of equity. Enough money to give you the illusion of wealth, but not enough to give you real freedom. The guy who had been saving it religiously buys the $60,000 car outright. The woman who invested consistently renovates her house for $80,000. The couple takes a well-deserved $15,000 vacation. Then another, and another, and the assets stop growing. Friedman would explain this with the permanent income hypothesis. When assets grow, the person recalibrates their consumption upwards. Even if the income has not changed, 300,000 is not enough, 500,000 is not enough. Enough is when the return on capital replaces your need to work. And for most, that starts with the first million. Until then, it's a trench. Any relaxation is potentially fatal. Now imagine a snowball on top of a mountain. In the first few meters, it is small. Moves slowly, imperceptible progress. After 100 meters, it is already bigger. More snow per revolution. Increasing speed. After 500 meters, it is huge, unstoppable mass. Your investment account works like this. And the first million is the point where the ball rolls on its own. The problem? Most for the snowball. Take a piece to spend. Get out of the way. Safe to rest. And you lose all the accumulated momentum. Friedman would understand this as an opportunity cost. 60,000 spent today is not 60,000 lost. That's potentially 300,000-400,000 of future wealth destroyed. Because every dollar spent kills all the compound returns, it would have cascaded exponentially forever. You are a hamster in the wheel. Earn, spend, earn, spend. The cycle repeats itself every month. The wheel turns, but you don't move forward. And the worst part, you know it. You know what you need to do to get out. And it doesn't. Friedman said that people act according to their incentives. And the system is designed to encourage you to spend. Advertising bombards you. Credit seduces you. Social pressure pushes you. The entire modern economic ecosystem exists to extract money from your pocket before it can multiply. Banks earn when you finance. Stores earn when you buy. Cards earn when you pay in installments. Everyone wins except you. The hamster leaves the wheel when it decides to stop running and start building. When every dollar that comes in is directed first to investment and then to consumption. When the priority is reversed. Friedman always emphasized, no one takes care of your money like you do. If you're not doing the work of protecting and multiplying your capital, no one is going to do it for you. The government will not save you. Public retirement is a bad joke. And if you're counting on the kindness of strangers for your old age, you deserve what you're going to get. Misery. When I was younger, I met a man who worked as a maintenance technician in a factory. Modest income, simple life, no visible luxury. No one would ever suspect he had money. One day, in a casual conversation, he told me that he had just surpassed $2 million in investments. $2 million. A maintenance technician. I asked how. I expected to hear about inheritance, luck, miraculous investment. Do you know what he said? I started saving $100 a month when I was 23. I increased it to $200 when I got it. Then 300, then 500, then 1,000. I never stopped. I never moved. When I looked, there were 1 million. After 1 million, 2 million came in less than 7 years, without doing anything different. Without doing anything different. The same contributions, the same discipline. But the result accelerated dramatically after the first million. I asked if it was difficult. He responded with something that stuck in my memory. The first 15 years were hell. Each month was a battle against myself. After the first million, it became easy. Not because I changed, because the numbers have changed. When your money earns more than your salary, motivation becomes automatic. This man intuitively understood what Friedman academically formalized. Permanent income, compound interest, the transition from human wealth to non-human wealth. He didn't use those terms. It didn't need to. I lived reality, and reality is more convincing than any theory. I saw this happen dozens of times later. Ordinary people, average incomes, nothing extraordinary. Except discipline, except persistence. Except the refusal to stop the ball snow. And in every case, the pattern was the same. The first few years are agony. The intervening decade is tolerable. The first million is liberation. And after that, everything speeds up. I'll give you the map. Not the motivational map. The real map. From 0 to 100,000 is the phase of disbelief. Everything seems impossible. Saving money feels like punishment. You look at 1 million and laugh at your own audacity. This is where 90% give up. From 100,000 to 300,000 is the phase of fragile hope. You start to see real returns. Not a lot, but enough to light a spark. The temptation to spend is huge because the number already seems significant. 300,000 to 700,000 is the danger zone. Heritage big enough to give you the illusion of wealth, but not big enough for real freedom, where most people sabotage themselves. From 700,000 to 1 million is the final stretch. If you survive the danger zone, it's almost automatic here. Compound returns are operating strong. The feeling is like descending the mountain after a brutal climb. From 1 million onwards is the acceleration. The game changes. Returns exceed contributions. Capital generates capital that generates more capital. The snowball is unstoppable. Each year that passes is easier than the last. The hardest part is the one that comes first. If the easy part came first, everyone would be a millionaire. But the financial universe is designed in reverse order. Suffer first, reap later. And most cannot bear the suffering. Friedman spent his entire life defending economic freedom. Real freedom means you can say no. You can say no to an abusive employer. You can say no to the project you don't believe in. You can say no to the customer who disrespects you. You can say no to the life you are living. Without capital, you can't say no to anything. He accepts everything because he needs the salary. Suck it up because the rent is due on the 5th. Tolerates humiliation because the installments do not wait. The first million gives you the practical power to say no. And this power is worth more than any luxury. Friedman would understand perfectly. The biggest purchase you can make with $1 million is not a car, a house, or a trip. It's your freedom. And freedom is the only good whose value increases over time. Cars depreciate. Houses need maintenance. Travel becomes memory. Freedom is compounded. Each year of freedom allows you to make choices that increase your freedom further. It is compound interest applied to human existence. Here is the final truth. No filter, no shock absorber. The first million is the hardest. Pointer is no shortcut. There is no hack. There is no secret that rich people keep from you. The secret is there for everyone to see. Brutal discipline for long enough for the compounding effect to manifest itself. And after the first million, getting rich becomes easier. Dramatically easier. Because the math changes. Psychology changes. Opportunities change. Everything changes. But you will never experience that ease if you don't survive the difficulty that comes before. You can continue spending everything you earn. You can continue financing your lifestyle. You can continue on the hamster wheel. You can continue complaining that the system is unfair, that the salary is low, that life is expensive. Or it could start to snowball. Today, with what you have, with $1,000, with 500, with 100, it doesn't matter. The important thing is to start and not stop. Milton Friedman would say, with that icy clarity that defined him, no one will do it for you. Neither does the government. Neither does the employer. Not even luck. Neither does the universe. If you want the first million, you're going to have to build it brick by brick, month by month, year by year, decade by decade. And when you get there, you will look back and understand that every sacrifice was worth it. That every no you said to consumption was a yes to the future. That every night of boredom while others celebrated was an investment in the freedom you now have, or it won't arrive. And you will look back with the silent regret of someone who knew the path and chose not to follow it. The difference between these two futures, it's not intelligence, it's not luck, it's not a circumstance, it's discipline. Discipline sustained long enough for the exponential curve to reward you. Friedman proved mathematically that wealth compounds. What capital generates capital? That the first million is the hardest, and each subsequent million is easier. The question is not whether the theory works. It works. It has been proven for decades. The question is whether you work. If you have what it takes to endure the brutal years before the turning point. If you can resist the temptation to spend in the danger zone. If you can keep the snowball rolling when everyone around you is still. Probably not. Statistically, you will fail. You will give up within the first 5 years. Or it will sabotage progress in the 300,000 zone. Or you will never even start because it is more comfortable to dream about wealth than to build it. But if you are the exception, if it's the one in V, I know it really does, that really holds up, that really persists, you'll reach your first million. And you'll find out that Friedman was right all along. After the first million, everything gets easier. But before him is hell, and hell is optional. You choose now.